Well, positivity was the mood surrounding Argyle last weekend. An impressive draw against Sunderland, but Argyle are without a win since the start of November, and with games running out, they're certainly in need of a victory today. And it won't be an easy task against a West Brom side who have a new manager, and they put 5 past Portsmouth last weekend. They also haven't lost to Argyle in over 30 years. A massive afternoon in store then, and all the action is coming your way here on Argyle TV. Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Argyle TV. I'm Erin Black, and like today, the last few home games have felt very important. Argyle are now 7 points away from safety, and there are only 17 matches remaining until the end of the season. And for those of you who haven't done the maths already, that means there is 51 points to play for if all goes very, very well indeed. We don't want to see that gap widening this afternoon, that's for sure. And as always, Argyle TV is the place to be for all of your Argyle needs. We'll be here for the rest of the afternoon, following along the game with West Bromwich Albion, and hopefully bringing you that much deserved and much awaited for Argyle win this afternoon. Your match passes, both audio and video, are available from the website. That's pafc.co.uk. If you haven't grabbed them already, head over there. You can get all of the details. And joining me this afternoon as we prepare for kickoff is none other than Aaron Cusack. Good afternoon, Aaron.
Hello, Erin. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
You're feeling quite positive, I think, going into the game today from, what we discussed in the breakfast show earlier.
Yeah, very much so. I think the players have had a full week together on the training pitch. Music's been able to implement what he wants, and I think we'll see an identity out there this afternoon, and hopefully that'll convert to 3 points.
Yeah, we saw some improvement last weekend, which was much needed. Pilgrim Pete's here. Pete, score prediction, please, quickly. It's a 2. And a 2-0 to Argyle. Very nice. And he's rocking his Pride kit there, I think, as well. Lovely to see. I think that's you said 2-1 actually
2-1.
in breakfast, didn't you? Is your prediction? I mean, we know that Argyle, bounced back from that heavy loss that we saw previously. So we got, a much-needed draw at Sunderland. And I think what's crucial coming into today's game is that it seems like Muslic will have had more time with his now newly appointed backroom staff that have come over as well to gel with the squad, and hopefully we'll be seeing more of his vision today.
Yeah, I mean, when you have more time on the training pitch, you have an opportunity to relay information on what players' responsibilities are. He's had a full week of it. So today you'll see a collective of where the ball goes, where players will work together, and that showcases the transfer. It'll be a very difficult fixture, we know that. But West Brom haven't got the best away form recently. Of the last 6, 3 draws, 3 defeats. Haven't won away from home since the 11th of November. So, if you're going to pick up points against a good opponent, perhaps, a good opportunity is today.
And we know, looking at the table and looking at the numbers, those wins do need to start coming. 17 games left. Yes, getting a point is good, and it's the direction we want to see the club moving in, but those 3 points are more crucial.
Well, exactly that. Every game that goes by is another 3 points that are no longer available, and you've got to start capitalising on good opportunities.
Yeah.
West Brom are coming here in okay form. They're going to be without one of their top scorers who's injured.
Yeah.
Is that an opportunity to try and take advantage? And they've got to take those advantages when they come along. Yeah,
and of course Argyle have a couple new signings in the January transfer window, which we'll see very, very shortly if they've made it onto the squad when we look at that. If they have, we are kind of seeing this bolstering of the team coming together, and it has been hit by injuries, over the course of the season. So it would be nice to see, again, the squad itself moving in a positive direction.
Yeah, absolutely. Injuries happen all the time in football, but they've brought in what looks to be 2 real kind of staunch defenders, big presence, and that's what we've been not lacking in terms of the personnel we've got, lacking in depth. So we haven't had a number of those types of players. So, we'll soon see whether they're going to play a part. and hopefully they can hit the ground running and get the Green Army behind them.
Yeah, well, let's not waste any time then. Let's get your team news for this afternoon and have a look at the Argyle squad that is taking on West Brom. In goal, we have Connor Hazard, followed by Jordan Houghton, Julio Pleguezuelo, Callum Wright, Mustafa Bundu, Timoteus Puach, Adam Randall, Nikola Katic, Matthew Sorinola, Michael Baidu and Maxim Talavierov. And on the bench, Grimshaw, Mumba, Ogbeta, Hardy, Obafemi, JB, Tajani, Al-Hajj and Paulson. So 3-4-2-1 for the squad, Aaron. Both the new signings are in, which is a great delight to read straight off the bat, because Talavierov in particular is one to kind of try and get your words around.
Yeah, it's a different name. It's a new name, isn't it? I'm not surprised that they're straight in, because it looks like a back three is Music's preferred back line, and I'm not sure we had three centre halves available if those two weren't here. So they go straight in, clearly match ready. It's not like they need time to get up to match fitness. Real big presence. So we don't know whether Pleggy will move to the left and which one will play in the middle. Katic in particular, Bosnian international. I think he's on loan from Rangers, so lots of pedigree. Hopefully they gel nice and early.
Yeah, I've seen on social media some Rangers fans saying, he's a good addition to the club and one to keep an eye out for. In terms of the team that we're already more familiar with, we've got Bundu starting. He's got 2 goals and 1 assist in his last 2 home starts. And he's a player that you identified in your analysis at breakfast, where both you and Mark saying, if you were choosing the squad, you would want him in the starting lineup.
Yeah, he would play in my 11. If he's available and he's fit, he would play, because of the physical capabilities he has and also the qualities he's made and put in some big performances previously. Like you say, 2 goals, 1 assist in his last couple of appearances at home. He's just had a little bit of a topsy-turvy form with injury. If he can hit the ground running today, he will be a threat for Argyle in that attacking area.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see him and Baidu working together. And then, of course, going back to our new signings, both of them I'm seeing here over 6 foot, which always helps when you're in that kind of position, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It just brings a presence, Erin. When we played against QPR the other week, and they had some really big centre halves, and that does give that immediate perception that it's difficult to get through and play past them, and that's what they've got to do here. They've got to come with that profile of saying, we're a difficult opponent to play against. So if you're gonna beat us, you're gonna earn the right to win.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting for me is when we were in the media room before coming out here, a couple of the West Brom media team kind of going through the Argyle lineup and acknowledged this and saying, Argyle have got a couple of players that looking a bit mean out there that probably will be hopefully quite difficult to go up against.
Yeah, I mean, Music has already echoed that. He wants players to win more of their 1v1 duels, and that's exactly what it's going to be today. Every football match is always 11 against 11, irrelevant of formations. So ultimately, win your 1v1 duel, and if you've got that physical component to go with your game, then it perhaps offers a little bit more of an advantage.
Yeah, I think it will certainly be an interesting afternoon for a variety of reasons to watch this game. Let's have a look at our opposition then. It is West Brom this afternoon, and their squad looks a little bit like this. Alex Palmer, Darnell Furlong, Mason Holgate, Callum Stiles, Jed Wallace, John Swift, Grady Digana, Torbjorn Hegem, Mikey Johnson, Alex Moa and Tom Fellows, and on their bench, Wildsmith, Bartley, Malumbi, Diakite, Grant, Price, Frabotta, Whitwell and Cole. Alex Palmer, of course, a familiar name. Yeah,
former goalkeeper here. He's been a constant in their 11 for a couple of years now. I think they'll play 4-4-2, Erin. I think they're unchanged from the win against Pompey or Portsmouth last weekend. They are without Josh Madger, who's their top scorer. I think Jed Wallace will play slightly higher, but they've got lots of threat. They're a good team. Tom Fellows in particular is a really good player. 10 assists, 2 goals, good ball carrier, so he's going to be a constant threat on that wide area.
Yeah, but you were saying their away form not particular, maybe Argyle have an advantage in that respect.
Well, yeah, I mean, their away form, I think they've won 4, they've drawn 7, they've lost 4, so it's not flawless.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag.
Yeah, and recently they've won 3 and lost 3 of their last 6. If you include the FA Cup game against Southampton where they've lost 4 and drawn 3 of their last 7. so that they're not travelling particularly well. So I think today is a real good opportunity to try and take advantage of their, up and down form.
Yeah, and the injuries, they have no striker fit. I think that is probably, again, another thing that Argyle really need to try and capitalise on today.
Yeah, I mean, when you lose anyone who's the top scorer, he's scored 12 goals. So if you're taking 12 goals out of that starting 11, that's a big miss, They've still got Diagana's got 4. I think Alex Moe at midfield has got 5. So they've got contributions. But if you are losing your talisman, then it does limit your attacking supply.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you look at some of the stats, Johnson and Fellows both scored here last season and have been impressive this season. And, direct players as well. I think that's something that Argyle will want to be doing a bit more, is being really direct.
Absolutely, out of possession, they've got to make it difficult for the opponents to get past them. Mark and I spoke in the breakfast show about being difficult in wide areas to get past, stop crosses. But going forward, be more direct, be penetrative. We've spoken previously about breaking lines with intent and with aggression. Don't be passive. Make it difficult for the opponent.
Yeah, and of course West Brom as well, scoring 5 last weekend. I mean, we know what it's like to be on the receiving end of that, and we certainly don't want a repeat. I mean, they would love to score another 5, I'm sure, and they've seen that it can happen here at home park. But hopefully that's something that Argyle will be able to draw a line under and put behind them.
I'd like to think that was an anomaly in terms of what Music expects. If you get beat by an opponent and you give everything you've got, people can accept that. But the way in which they came back against Sunderland last week, having gone a goal up, then 2-1 down and got back in the game, showed their character and their resilience. And that's what they've got to showcase today. If they do go a goal behind, it's how they respond to going that 1 down.
Yeah, it certainly seems like Argyle have ramped up the intention, ramped up the pressure. It's been really busy training for them, hasn't it, going into this? I know, you speak to some of the players and they are being pushed, and the head coach is asking a lot of them, as he should.
Absolutely. I mean, I keep echoing the fact that he said in his opening conversation to them about, as humans he will protect them, as footballers he will challenge them. So he's been challenging them as footballers, and he's increased the intensity, he's increased the application and the expectation of their commitment. And if you've got the manager leading that ship, the players hopefully are following suit.
Yeah. Do you think we're, looking to see a side under Muslic where he has a very clear vision of where players, need to be, and he wants them to play in the way that he has told them to play, and, drawn up the plans of play, rather than maybe what we've seen previously where there seems to have been maybe a lack of direction?
Yeah, potentially. It seems to be that he wants players to understand what's expected of them, and if they don't conform to the instruction, they won't play.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fine, So therefore, players have got to take responsibility of what's expected of them on game day, not only as an individual, but as part of a unit and a collective.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting time for Argyle, and it'll be nice having had a bit of a quieter week, because it has been a really busy period from Muslic arriving to now, to actually see how everything is bedded in, and if we see a slightly different looking side come out today.
Hopefully we will. I mean, given time, the level that he's put in terms of training intensity will eventually become the norm. So it will go by quietly each week, because that's the levels, and habits take time to be ingrained, and hopefully they've got to start from somewhere. We'll start to see identities of it today.
Yes, yeah, identity I think is a good word there. And like we said, it has been a whole 7 days since Argyle's last game, so that is a clear week for them, and it's a luxury that Miron Muslic hasn't had since he's been in charge. So how much has he enjoyed having a full week to prepare for today's game? Let's find out, because he spoke to Charlie Price.
Thanks for dropping in, thanks for coming in.
A pleasure as always.
A free week to prepare for a game, a rarity since you've been here.
Luxury, yeah. I think we had more games than training sessions, so that's why we needed also this week, just to have a full week of preparation, having also a full week of some adaptations and new schedule in terms of arriving for the players, breakfast, activation, meetings, pre-preps, after preps. So small steps in aim to support the lads best possible, so they have a chance to perform also on the highest possible level at the weekend. So this weekend, the whole week, I'm very pleased with our training sessions. I'm very pleased with the attitude the boys are pushing, and that's good.
Yeah. As a coach, it must be the most frustrating thing to have not been able to do that in the time that you've been in already, no doubt.
I think frustration is the wrong word, because you have to always think and try to maximize things and try to make the best out of it. I'm very focused and very strict on things I can actually change and improve, and not on things I can't. And time was limited for us, and we still try to maximize every single day. So that's why this week was something new, was a positive change, and hopefully we can also deliver on Saturday.
Let's change the discourse from frustration to luxury, like you said before. Let's be positive, exactly. So on this week then, what you kind of alluded to it a moment ago, but what's been the sort of way in which you've gone about it? How has it all been plotted out?
Having Sunderland as reference, because this is how we want to play: structured, organized, competitive, intense, together, just hard to play. And if we can manage to do this, and if we can fill this structure and this organization with the right passion, with the desire, with the attitude, we are just hard to play, and we are hard to beat, and we are competitive. And as soon as we are competitive, we can start collecting points. And we did also against, I think, all the expectations. Nobody really bet on us, and that's good. That's good, because we still believe. And now it's just also important to stay in this mood, to keep on progressing, to keep on working, because we will need points, and not only 1 point. But I think if we can manage to show the same spirit on Saturday, we have also all the chances to keep the 3 points at the home park.
Argyle's head coach there, he's big on performance, but he's also big on attitude and how the players deal with the game. I think mentally as well. With the Sunderland game, really keen to point out how long the journey was for the fans to come up and kind of go with them, to support them on that, and how the team need to pay that back. So he really does seem to be kind of drilling into the psyche of the squad. Yeah,
I think it's great, Erin. I really do. I think what it does is it heightens their awareness of what the supporters do to help them to become the best players they can be. They will always be a constant, the supporters. Managers, players will come and go, but the fans will always be here. And I like the fact that he's challenging them psychologically to say, look, you've got to make your mindset more resilient. You've got to overcome those challenges and see how you react in moments of difficulty. And hopefully we can see that in moments in the games as well.
How do you envision the tactics changing slightly from the game we saw last weekend to being at home here today?
I think they will probably be a lot more on the front foot early. They'll probably look to press higher up the pitch as well. So try and get the crowd behind them, force West Brom into moving the ball in difficult areas. I wouldn't be surprised if they've got a plan to trigger a press. Rather than just run aimlessly, they'll wait for a moment and then one player will trigger that press and then the rest of the group will go together. I think they'll get higher up the pitch as well to try and get the ball in West Brom's area, high line, as early as can.
I mean, it will be interesting to see that more attacking presence from Argyle coming out, because speaking to Neil here behind the camera, who's been hanging around the side of the pitch for a while, West Brom, warming up, getting ready, apparently sounding very confident.
Yeah. I mean, they would be. They're coming into it. They're like third or fourth in the league. They're chasing promotion. On paper, they should be beating us. In form, they should be beating us. But football doesn't work like that. So therefore, we just need to make sure that we give them a game and let them know that they're in a game. This crowd can be raucous at times, and let's hope that gets behind us and it converts to 3 points.
It would certainly be a shame if the overconfidence from the opposition maybe didn't necessarily pan out, but only time will tell, of course, because it would certainly be a shame if we over-egged that pudding and it went the opposite direction. So back to the football. Miron Muslic has been bringing in a couple of players recently, but in the last couple of weeks he's also added to his backroom staff as well. Eddie Lattimore and Adin Osman Basic have come in, who both worked with Muslic at Cercle Brugge. Osman Basic has come in as the assistant head coach and spoke with Argyle TV about how much he's looking forward to working with Muslic again.
Tell us then about your relationship with Miron, and we'll touch on Eddie later, but the boss, you worked with him at Cercle Brugge, obviously.
Yes.
So what's your relationship like with him?
It's a good relationship. I think we both have a similar background. We're both from Bosnia. He left when he was older than I was. I was fairly young. I ended up actually being born in Germany. There was a war in Bosnia, and obviously through refugee, he moved to Austria. I moved to Germany. I was born there and grew up in Germany for 5-6 years, and then I moved to America, where I spent the rest of my life. But yeah, the way I met him was actually through an assistant coach in Houston, a previous club I was in, and we were watching a Cercle Bruges match, and I saw just how they were pressing with so much intensity, and I was amazed by them. And the coach mentioned to me, this is actually a Bosnian guy, and I was like, wow. And I immediately thought, okay, can I get into contact with him? And then we were in contact for about a year, and then I was looking to go to Europe to further my coaching career, and actually at the same exact time, without knowing, he actually had an opening at Cercle Bruges, and it just happened that it fell into place at the same time. So that's kind of how our relationship started and how we started working in Cercle as well together.
Yeah, wow, that is quite incredible. Yeah. And you know, he's not been in here long, but I imagine when he did make that move, and if there was an opportunity for you to come here, that is why you're here, evidently, I suppose.
Yes. I knew when he came that I wanted to support him and I wanted to come with him. I believe fully in the idea that he has for the game. I'm very close and very similar in the same idea, and we're both very passionate about it. So as soon as he took on the challenge and the project, I was right there with him.
A lot of new faces and names and pronunciations around the club. I think I might need to work on that one. It could be Osman Bajic. I'm not, homework required. Next time we circle back to him, Osman Bajic, I'm being told. So close enough. We'll get there in the end. What is important about him, though, in particular, Aaron? You know, the work he's previously done with Muslic in coaching. You will know how important it is as a coach yourself to have a solid team that is able to work together. And obviously, you know, they both are bringing different elements to that backroom.
Absolutely, yeah. So we've got one who's going to come in a physical performance kind of perspective, and one who's going to become more of a strategist, a tactician. Music has got to be able to trust his coaching staff to delegate. He can't do it all on his own. Yeah. You know, just like players can't do it all on their own. So he's got to be able to delegate their skill set to the scenarios that he wants to get better. And then no doubt that'll bring everyone up as well. Yeah,
and then working, of course, with Nance as well, who is an absolute staple of the club, guided them through various trials and tribulations. Hopefully it will all come together and everyone will be able to, you know, offer different elements and make everything a whole.
Great. You know, what Nance will bring is cultural intelligence. So he will get them aware of what's expected working in England, what the fans are like here in this part of the country, what the players respond like. So they're learning more about the cultural elements rather than the techniques and strategies that go with formations and things like that. So collectively, you know, they could be very strong.
Yeah, well, hopefully today may be a turning point where things have ticked along well enough that we may start seeing everything come together. You're certainly feeling optimistic within reason of the outlook.
Yeah, I really do. I really think that with the work that they've done, the identity he's trying to create, he's given everything. I think we'll see bits of it coming out today.
Okay, well, looking forward to it. As you can probably see and hear behind Aaron and I, everyone is gearing up to begin a kick-off on the pitch, which is just under 10 minutes away now. So a reminder that if you haven't got your match passes already, please do so. Head over to pafc.co.uk for all of your audio and video streaming needs. It's Charlie Price and Mark Edworthy doing the commentary for you this afternoon, and Aaron and I will be back with you at half-time, hopefully with lots of lovely highlights to show you. Thank you very much, Aaron. It is Argyle versus West Brom up next.